The General Dynamics Grumman F-111B was a long-range carrier-based interceptor aircraft that was planned to be a follow-on to the F-4 Phantom II. The F-111B was developed in the 1960s by General Dynamics in conjunction with Grumman for the United States Navy as part of the Joint Tactical Fighter Experimental with the United States Air Force to produce a common fighter for the services that could perform a variety of missions. It incorporated innovations such as variable geometry wings, afterburning turbofan engines, and a long-range radar and missile weapons system, designed in parallel with the F-111 Aardvark, which was adopted by the Air Force as a strike aircraft. The F-111B suffered development issues and changing Navy requirements for an aircraft with maneuverability for dogfighting. The F-111B was not ordered into production, and the F-111B prototypes were used for testing before being retired. The F-111B would be replaced by the smaller and lighter Grumman F-14 Tomcat, which carried over the engine's -9 Aruban Florence per Phoenix weapons system, and similar swing-wing configuration. Development background: the F-111B was part of the 1960s TFX program. The USAF's Tactical Air Command was largely concerned with the fighter-bomber and deep strike interdiction roles. The aircraft would be a follow-on to the F-105 Thunder Chief. In June 1960, the USAF issued a specification for a long-range interdiction strike aircraft able to penetrate Soviet air defenses at very low altitudes and very high speeds to deliver tactical nuclear weapons against crucial targets. Meanwhile, the U.S. Navy sought a long-range, high-endurance interceptor to defend its aircraft carrier battle groups against long-range anti-ship missiles launched from Soviet jet bombers and submarines. The Navy needed a fleet air defense aircraft with a more powerful radar and longer-range missiles than the F-4 Phantom II to intercept both enemy bombers and missiles. Tactical Fighter Experimental. The Air Force and Navy requirements appeared to be different. However, on 14 February 1961, the new U.S. Secretary of Defense, Robert McNamara, formally directed that the services study the development of a single aircraft that would satisfy both requirements. Early studies indicated the best option was to base the Tactical Fighter Experimental on the Air Force requirement and a modified version for the Navy. In June 1961, Secretary McNamara ordered the go-ahead on TFX despite Air Force and Navy efforts to keep the programs separate. The USAF and the Navy could only agree on swing-wing, two-seat twin-engine design features. The USAF wanted a tandem-seat aircraft for low-level penetration, while the Navy wanted a shorter, high-altitude interceptor with side-by-side seating. Also, the USAF wanted the aircraft designed for 7.33 grams with Mach 2.5 speed at altitude and Mach 1.2 speed at low level with a length of approximately 70 feet. The Navy had less strenuous requirements of 6 grams with Mach 2 speed at altitude and high subsonic speed at low level with a length of 56 feet. The Navy also wanted a 48-inch radar dish for long range on a maximum takeoff weight of 50,000 pounds. So McNamara developed a basic set of requirements for TFX based largely on the Air Force's requirements. He changed to a 36-inch dish for compatibility and increased the maximum weight to approximately 60,000 pounds for the Air Force version and 55,000 pounds for the Navy version. Then on the 1st of September 1961 he ordered the USAF to develop it. A request for proposal for the TFX was provided to industry in October 1961. In December of that year, Boeing, General Dynamics, Lockheed, McDonnell, North American and Republic submitted the proposals. The proposal evaluation group found all the proposals lacking, but the best should be improved with study contracts. Boeing and General Dynamics were selected to enhance the designs. 3 rounds of updates to the proposals were conducted, with Boeing being picked by the selection board. Instead, Secretary McNamara selected General Dynamics' proposal in November 1962 due to its greater commonality between Air Force and Navy TFX versions. The Boeing aircraft versions shared less than half of the major structural components. General Dynamics signed the TFX contract in December 1962. A congressional investigation followed, but did not change the selection. Design phase. The Air Force F-111 and Navy F-111B variants used the same airframe structural components and F-4 turbofan engines. They featured side-by-side crew seating in an escape capsule, as required by the Navy. The F-111B's nose was 8.5 feet shorter due to its need to fit on existing carrier elevator decks, and had 3.5 feet longer wingtips to improve on-station endurance time. The Navy version would carry an AN-9 Aruban Florence Pulse Doppler radar and 6 AIM-54 Phoenix missiles. The Air Force version would carry the AN-APQ-113 attack radar and the AN-APQ-110 terrain-following radar and air-to-ground armament. Lacking experience with carrier-based fighters, General Dynamics teamed with Grumman for assembly and test of the F-111B aircraft. In addition, Grumman would also build the F-111A's aft fuselage and the landing gear. The first test F-111A was powered by F-4 turbofans and used a set of ejector seats as the escape capsule was not yet available. It first flew on the 21st of December 1964. The first F-111B was also equipped with ejector seats and first flew on the 18th of May 1965. To address all issues in certain parts of the flight regime, the F-111's engine inlet design was modified in 1965-66, ending with the triple plow I and triple plow II designs. The F-111A achieved a speed of Mach 1.3 in February 1965 with an interim intake design. F-111B. The weight goals for both F-111 versions proved to be overly optimistic. Excessive weight plagued the F-111B throughout its development. The prototypes were far over the requirement weight. Design efforts reduced airframe weight but were offset by the addition of the escape capsule. The additional weight made the aircraft underpowered. Lift was improved by changes to the wing control surfaces. A higher thrust version of the engine was planned. During the congressional hearings for the aircraft, Vice Admiral Thomas F. Connolly, then Deputy Chief of Naval Operations for Air Warfare, responded to a question from Senator John C. Stennis as to whether a more powerful engine would cure the aircraft's woes, saying, "There isn't enough power in all Christendom to make that airplane what we want." With the F-111B program in distress, Grumman began studying improvements and alternatives. In 1966, the Navy awarded Grumman a contract to begin studying advanced fighter designs. Grumman narrowed down these designs to its Model 303 design. With this, the F-111B's end appeared near by mid-1967. By May 1968, both Armed Services Committees of Congress voted not to fund production, and in July 1968 the DoD ordered work stopped on F-111B. A total of 7 F-111Bs were delivered by February 1969. Replacement: the F-111B's replacement, the Grumman F-14 Tomcat, which derived from Grumman's initial Model 303 design, reused the TF-30 engines from the F-111B, though the Navy planned on replacing them with an improved engine later. Although lighter than the F-111B, it was still the largest and heaviest U.S. fighter to take off and land from an aircraft carrier. Its size was a consequence of the requirement to carry the large -9 Aruban Florence radar and AIM-54 Phoenix missiles, both from the F-111B, while exceeding the F-4's maneuverability. While the F-111B was armed only for the interceptor role, the Tomcat incorporated an internal M61 Vulcan cannon, provisions for Sidewinder and Sparrow air-to-air missiles, and provisions for bombs. While the F-111B did not reach service, land-based F-111 variants were in service with the U.S. Air Force for many years and with the Royal Australian Air Force until 2010. Design: the F-111B was an all-weather interceptor aircraft intended to defend U.S. Navy carrier battle groups against bombers and anti-ship missiles. The F-111 features variable geometry wings, an internal weapons bay and a cockpit with side-by-side seating. The cockpit is part of an escape crew capsule. The wing sweep varies between 16 degrees and 72.5 degrees. The airframe consisted mostly of aluminum alloys with steel, titanium and other materials also used. The fuselage is a semi-monocoque structure with stiffened panels and honeycomb sandwich panels for skin. The F-111B was powered by two Pratt & Whitney TF-30 afterburning turbofan engines and included the AN-9 Aruban Florence radar system for controlling the AIM-54 Phoenix air-to-air missiles. The F-111 offered a platform with the range, payload, and Mach 2 performance to intercept targets quickly, but with swing wings and turbofan engines, it could also loiter on station for long periods. The F-111B would carry 6 AIM-54 Phoenix missiles, its main armament. 4 of the Phoenix missiles mounted on wing pylons and 2 in the weapons bay. Operational history. Flight testing. Flight tests on the F-111B continued at Point Mugu and China Lake even after the program had been terminated. In July 1968, the pre-production F-111B serial number 151974 was used for carrier trials aboard US Coral Sea. The evaluation was completed without issue. Hughes continued Phoenix missile system development with 4 F-111Bs. In all, 2 F-111Bs were lost in crashes and a third seriously damaged. The F-111B's last flight was with 151,792 from California to New Jersey in mid-1971. The 7 F-111Bs flew 1,748 hours over 1,173 flights. Variants. F-111B numbers Chapter 1 to 3 were initial prototypes, and No. 4 and 5 were prototypes with lightened airframes. Number 6 and 7 had lightened airframes and improved TF-30P12 engines and were built to near production standard. These were also approximately 2 feet longer due to an added section between the cockpit and radome. The first 5 aircraft included triple plow I intakes. The last 2 had triple plow 2 intakes. The first 3 B models were fitted with ejection seats and the remainder included the escape crew capsule. Operators. United States Navy. Specifications. for pre-production aircraft number 6 and AMP number 7. Data from Thomason, Miller, Logan. General characteristics: crew 2, length 68 feet 10 in, wingspan, spread 70 feet, swept 33 feet 11 in, height 15 feet 9 in. Wing area, spread 655.5 feet squared, swept 550 feet squared. Airfoil NACA 64 to 210.68 root, NACA 64 to 209.8 toe tip. Empty weight 46,100 pounds. Loaded weight 79,000 pounds. Max takeoff weight 88,000 pounds. Power plant 2 times Pratt & Amp Whitney TF30P3 turbofans. Dry thrust 10,750 lbf each. Thrust with afterburner 18,500 lbf each. Performance: maximum speed Mach 2.2. Range 2,100 miles, with 6 AIM-54 missiles and 23,000 pounds fuel internal. Ferry range 3,200 miles, with 2x450 gallons external tanks. Service ceiling 65,000 feet. Rate of climb 21,300 feet per minute. Wing loading, spread 120 pounds feet squared, swept 144 pounds feet squared. Thrust weight 0.47. Armament: guns 1 times M61 Vulcan 20mm Gatling cannon. Hardpoints 6 underwing pylons for ordnance and external fuel tanks. Missiles 6 AIM-54 Phoenix long-range air missiles. Avionics and -9 Aruban Florence pulse Doppler radar.